This was always my knock on Westbrook, is that in the regular season, if you face Westbrook and you played the night before and he has 2 games rest, you're effed. He's going to get 16 points in transition. And then, but in the playoffs, we're all equally rested. And I can attack his flaws over and over and frustrate him. And so Westbrook, Derrick Rose, these are remarkable regular season players. And they have their moments. You can't stop all transition. A team misses, you're good in transition. This has always been my knock on Westbrook, and he's gotten worse, is that he doesn't have good hands. He won't set a pick. He's become a terrible defender. He can't shoot mid-range or outside. So when you take the sloppy transition points away for the team, I wonder if in history, if you look at Westbrook against the team without equal rest, he's a handful. He's just too much athletically in the half court. And that's always been my knock on Westbrook. The playoffs are a different sport. It's not a coincidence he struggles when we're all equally rested. I do think he's a good guy. I do think he's well-meaning. But, you've been really critical of him. Are you ever surprised, or I should say how surprised, at the pushback you get when it appears his flaws are so obvious and counterintuitive to really good, solid playoff-level basketball, right? It seems obvious. He can't play off the ball.
My time covering Russell Westbrook with the Lakers has been one of the more confusing experiences as a basketball fan because it goes beyond even just the crazy, angry fans. There's also really smart basketball people that I know that don't see it. And for the record, I do see the positives with Russ. He's excellent at pushing the pace. He actually had a lot of success this year in the middle portions of games against inferior bench guards when the game had a more up and down flow.
Yep.
And I do believe that he could help a team if he ended up in a situation where he was only in those types of situations. That's why I actually like him for the Clippers, as long as Ty Lue wouldn't play him in crunch time. They have so much shooting. Give him a big who runs the floor, put him in those middle portions of the game, running up and down, pushing the pace. He can bring a lot of value. But the problem is there's a disconnect between the way league personnel view Westbrook, at least in terms of the coaching staffs and the players around the league, and the way the really smart basketball players see him. Because what would happen is you get in these situations and Darvin Ham's I need Russ out there in crunch time. And I'm not sure that Ty Lue wouldn't make the same mistake. And so, if I could create the perfect set of circumstances for Russell Westbrook, he's still a very productive NBA player. But the problem is everything about the playoffs is not the perfect set of circumstances. It's about being adaptable. It's about having versatility, which is everything that Russell Westbrook is not. And it was just a frustrating experience because it wasn't people would be oh, you're hating on Russ for the ratings. No one cares. No one cares. And it's authentic. As a basketball fan, and I've always been a big LeBron fan, so I've been covering the Lakers and I've been rooting for that team. It was pulling my hair out trying to watch the guy. And I'm just thankful that he's hopefully going to end up in a better basketball situation now because of all the places to have that loud and that critical of a fan base in the worst possible basketball fit. Anthony Davis, who doesn't like to run the floor, and a complete lack of shooting. It was the worst possible basketball fit you could have scripted for him.
You know what I'll explain it to you. So in baseball, where personality is often seen as a negative, there's a way to play the game. If you don't work analytically, you don't work. Seam heads push back. They don't care how cool Cody Bellinger's swing is and how cool he is. If you don't work analytically, you don't work. Basketball's always had an allure to the aesthetic. Style matters. I never trusted Dr. J shooting a free throw or hitting a jumper, but God, I love watching him. And he's absolutely crucial to the NBA story. World Be Free. I loved World Be Free. Marbury, Stevie Francis. I don't know what their analytics are. They have to be really suboptimal. But style matters. Fashion matters. Cool matters. That's why I love the NBA. There's always these weird, quirky players who are completely limited and can be marginalized. I love watching them. It doesn't work that way in baseball. Personality is seen as a weakness, a liability, disrespectful to the game. So I get the Westbrook. I always said, Zach LaVine, he's not a winning player, but he is fun to watch. Right?
Hell yeah, he is.
Hell yeah. So I do think a lot of it is, if you love basketball, I'm old now, man. I watched Wilt in 72. Wilt was a flake, but Wilt was cool. Like Wilt, there was value to Wilt being Wilt. And Moses Malone was amazing, but his game was boring. It was offensive rebounding. Paul Silas, a lot of these guys they're just not vertical players. So I guess that's my explanation, is basketball has this unique relationship with its fan base that style matters. And I mean, since I've been a kid, I loved Spencer Haywood, Dr. J, World B. Free. I mean, that's way a long time ago. Alex English led the damn league in scoring in the 80s. There's no such thing as an Alex English fan club. He led the damn league in scoring and by the way, a good decade. The 80s. He wasn't vertical. He hit elbow jumpers. So I just think it's why I love the NBA, but sometimes why it's maddening to argue about players.
Yeah, I wish people could understand that me being critical of the way Russ is playing for the Lakers when they have a championship expectation, which sounds hilarious with the way they performed, but that is not the same as me disliking Russ as a person or not having an appreciation for his career. I have so much appreciation for Russell Westbrook's all-time resume and his accomplishments in this league. It's also true that he never adapted to become a functional off-ball player. It's also true that in a league that has been dominated by skill guards in recent years, which have the skill of guards has completely changed the landscape of the NBA. It's changed every pick and roll coverage in the league. It's changed the geometry of NBA defense. Everything is different because of what Dame does and what Kyrie Irving does and what Steph Curry does. And in a league where all those guards have gone this way, Russell Westbrook could be left completely unguarded by himself all season long and shoot 29% from three. Like at a certain point, like me saying like, hey dude, you didn't adapt is not the same as like, I am now tossing away Russ's entire career resume. Huge Russ fan. Loved watching him play when he was in Oklahoma City. It was rough for the Lakers, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No, I mean, and some of it is Russ, I don't think it's lack of effort. Derrick Rose's shot had a weird spin to it. Russ has bad handles. Like for a guard, he's got 1974 power forward hands. He can't catch. And I just think he was, even at UCLA, Jason, he was just an athlete. They didn't know what to do with him. I don't think Oklahoma City for the first 2 years, nobody knew what to do with him. But he was too damn athletic to keep off the floor. And again, in the regular season, in transition, it's like John Wall. You couldn't stay in front of him. And now Russell comes in when they eliminate the hand check. So forget it. He's just going to score at the rim. I mean, hell, LeBron still gets to the rim. In year 20, you can't stay in front of him.
Better than ever.
I mean, really.